So quick question. How y'all doing? Who's having a good day? Raise your hand if you're having a good day. I am so sorry to hear that. See, you just said it. Good day is for an average person. I believe every day should be made excellent and exceptional. How many know who Les Brown is? Les Brown's a friend of mine. Les Brown says when you wake up on the right side of the dirt, it's a great day just to get started. And that's the way I like to try and take things. How many can think back to a time when you were 10, maybe 12 years old? Can you think back to that? Think back where you were living, think back to the house you lived in, think back to the time when you were 10 or 12. Now, it's a rainy Saturday afternoon. Depending on where you live, it may have been colder. You can't play outside. Of course, today nobody plays outside anymore anyway. You can't play outside. Your best friend comes over, you go downstairs, and you're playing some video games. And you start horsing around. And inevitably, what happens? Something breaks. It gets hurt. Something breaks. All of a sudden, you're in the basement steps over, door opens up, your mom comes down the steps, and she's looking at you. You can see how mad she is. You can see she's absolutely furious. She's looking at you, going, "Why did you do that?" And you look at your mother, trying the absolute best in your powers to bring the water to your eyes, hoping it might stop her from whooping you behind. And you say, "But Mom, I didn't do it on purpose." How many can relate to that?
I was obviously blown away. He's a fabulous presenter, so insightful. I think I had 3 or 4 pages of notes. Can't wait to go home and kind of review the stuff that I learned today and start applying it in our organization.
I now want you to think to today. Your teams. Are they getting things right on purpose?
I really feel like his, very personable conversation and attitude just really helped, get the point across, what he's trying to say, and I also feel like, he put things in perspective that is very understandable and that people can actually sit there and easily digest.
Or are they making some mistakes? Are there hiccups on the team? Are there employees that aren't getting along with each other? Are there employees that aren't getting along with the manager? What's the challenge?
Gregg is not only speaking today at our leadership conference, but I've also asked him to speak as a motivational speaker to give the motivational keynote at our awards luncheon this year, because I know once again that that's something that leaders as well as individual contributors can really walk away from feeling satisfied and feeling upbeat about what they've learned.
When we think about on-purpose teams, there's really 4 key words that come to mind about working together. It's trust, responsiveness, ownership, and then, most importantly, about being relentless in the mission. So mission. Those are individuals that have to focus. Then we branch out from that, and the on-purpose team takes you out to the key words or evolution words for the team to do. Synchronization, accountability, engagement, and the sharing of knowledge. When we understand the power of all that, and we realize that those traits have been operated in and worked in for hundreds of years at this point, it's amazing to see what happened in the 1800s still applies today. Maybe you're using technology versus a telephone, versus a telegraph, versus a pigeon, but it's all about coming together, and that's what this is about. We as a nation can come together if we work harder. If we have a bunch of eyes, we don't.
If you ever get a chance to hear him present or attend one of his workshops, it's worth your time.
His book, The One Team, One Dream, really talks to me and talks about what our team needs to do and building trust and building the tools that help us serve customers a little bit better.
There is no one right answer. Finding the right message that fits for your people. I believe that I've got a message that fits about getting people to function on purpose, as opposed to just getting it right from time to time. So I'm all about working together, drawing the correlations between behavior styles, between teams, between generations, everything in that direction. I bring it all to the table in a way that other people don't. Are you missing deadlines? Are meetings starting late? Why? You're not starting late on purpose. I don't know anybody who starts a meeting late on purpose. Are you not missing the deadlines on purpose? So I want you to think about getting your teams to function on purpose. How many of you have ever had anybody backstab you? If you're not raising your hand, you're lying. We've all been backstabbed at some point in time in our lives. Hopefully we didn't do the backstabbing, although most of us have probably done that too. Vulnerability trust is not a weakness. It is not a weakness. Pick that power up. Open yourselves up. How do we do that? So if you want to take some notes on this one, there's 4 ways that leaders can build vulnerability trust. Number 1, first, applaud an employee's knowledge, especially if you don't have that skill. I love what Tony said earlier. You know, he wanted to go in and try and help on the help desk and help do things. But in a union shop, you can't. I've been in those positions. Okay? Applaud them. Tell them they're doing a good job. Tell them, by the way, here's a question. How many in the last 30 days have used these exact words to an employee and said, I'm proud of you? And look how many hands are up. Not many. Those words are incredibly powerful to people. I'm proud of you. That's what you start to do. So applaud their skills, especially if you don't know them. Next, let the employees teach you. Guys, would you agree that there are people on your team that may know more than you do? Oh gosh, yes. I like that, yeah. Yeah, we do. Get to know your team members and their jobs. Oh my God. This is crucial, folks. Get to know them. Daryl, you already know a lot of the stuff. You may not have known the exact ones I pulled up. I understand that. But get to know the people on your teams. Why? What does that do? It builds trust. But what else does it do? I'm sorry? It builds rapport. The rapport starts to build trust. We start to build the trust. Guess what starts to happen? We have better confidence. What happens when we have better confidence? We have better teams. Here's the easiest one you can do. It's called a personal history exercise. And I'm perfectly fine with you guys taking pictures of all the slides. It does not bother me. If you want to get your thing out, you don't have to be discreet. Okay? Take the pictures. Okay? That's what it's about. See, what I love about HDI is similar to what happens in my organization, the Association of National Speakers. We share information. We're all about sharing it. That's going to come back in about 30 minutes. Remember that. Personal history exercise. Let's give you an example. So I want to bring up a slide here, and we're going to talk about this one in a second. No, I don't mean you have to go out and stand naked in Grand Central Station. Not going to happen. Okay, but a personal history exercise is like this. We do not have time today to do this. Okay? We don't. So take a picture of this, and I'll tell you something on the other side of this. You want to ask questions, where did you grow up? I got 4 things coming up here. So, how many siblings do you have, and what birth order do you fall in? Third, what was an important or unique event, either positive or negative? It could be either one. From your childhood. I say childhood definitely before 18. I'd like you to get before 16. And the last one is, how does that transcend your life today? How's it impacting you today in your professional life? So let me ask you a question. Do you want my positive experience or my negative experience? Positive? Oh, that's really good for today. I love that one. Because it was October 1966. Long time ago. My friend across the street, Billy, got tickets to the World Series. The Baltimore Orioles versus the Los Angeles Dodgers. He had tickets to Game 5, showing me the ticket. What did little boys do at that time, right? We're here, look, we're talking about all this stuff. I was like, oh man, I wish I could go to the game. Somehow, and I have no idea to this day how, my father got tickets to the third game of the World Series. Billy and I are now really ecstatic. I'm going to tell him everything that happened in Game 3. He's going to tell me everything that happens in Game 5. We're so stoked. I get to Game 3. I got to get the picture. I've got it somewhere. I don't have it today. I'm wearing a sport coat and dress pants, and my dad's got his coat and tie on to go to a baseball game in Hyattsville, Maryland. We take a picture out front. I got my ball glove and everything. Nobody ever hit a ball that far. We got there. If you remember old Memorial Stadium, I was 3 rows from the top. I thought I was going to get a nosebleed. I didn't care. I go home and I'm telling Billy all about it. So in the first 2 games, we played in Los Angeles. Games 1 and 2. LA lost. Baltimore won games 1 and 2. Now they're coming home for home field advantage. Game 3. Yes, the Orioles won again. Game 4, the Orioles win again. Swept 4 straight from the Los Angeles Dodgers. You're shaking your head. Why? There's no 5th game. Billy didn't get to go. So after Game 3, of course, I'm talking about all the fun and everything. When there's no Game 5, when the Orioles win, I was so excited. My father set me down. He said, be humble. Tell him you had a good time at the game, but don't rub it in that he didn't get to go. You've got to be humble to your friend. Help him out. Be there with him. Support him. I'm 8 years old learning this. You see what I'm talking about? An experience that happened to me as a child is impacting me today because I'm so involved about wanting to help other people and make them get better. Get them the opportunities to do what they can do. I did this training, full-day training one day for a university at Buffalo neurosurgery group. I had 17 neurosurgeons for half the day. I had 5 of them for the whole day, including the executive leader of that team. I asked them to do this exercise. I honestly, I was scared to death to ask neurosurgeons to do this silly exercise because they're going to think, it's just a bunch of foo-foo. I'm like, please do this, please do this. They did it, and they were shocked at what they got as a result. I'll share one of their stories. Happens to be the executive director, the chief of the entire neurosurgery group. He said when he was born, he was one of 3 children, middle, and he was born in Israel. At the age of 3, his family emigrated from Israel to New Jersey. Everything's fine, but about age 11, his mom and dad decided at that point they wanted to move to Buffalo, New York, where he said, and these are his words, not mine, I was the only Jew in the school. Nobody would sit with me. Nobody would talk to me. Nobody wanted to be friends with me. It was all just me. I was left alone. He found the rowing team somehow and got on the rowing team. And he worked his butt off on that rowing team. What's on a rowing team? Team members. They started rowing. His team qualified for the junior nationals. And he said the day he won that race, he looked at his hands and they were covered in blood because he'd been rowing and gripping so hard. He said at that time, he said, whatever I do in life must be good enough that I get blood on my hands. Do I have that kind of passion? He went on to a top neurosurgeon. Guys, that's the power of what you start to recognize with this exercise. I had a couple people from HDI conference. I did this exercise, dyad partners, when we did it a couple years ago at a conference. And somebody emailed me about a week later, said, oh my God, this was the most powerful thing we did with our team. You want to talk about bringing a team together? This will do that. This will do that.